Yes.
Okay, so on the internet with our volunteers,
Yes.
organically, I started talking about how I built Hillside Digital's concept
Yes.
on the spirit of Ubuntu.
Yes.
And the philosophies.
Yes. Yes.
So organically on the internet, one of the guys came up with an idea of getting an Ubuntu, a tattoo that says Ubuntu.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That you put on. And so women from different countries responded to that and liked the idea. And it started going on the internet. Women stand up and raise their voice for the voiceless,
Yes.
getting the Ubuntu tattoo. Now, there's been some criticisms
Yes.
by ex-Africans, South Africans, or what have you, that say that getting a tattoo saying Ubuntu is demeaning to the spirit of Ubuntu and what Ubuntu means.
They don't know nothing about what they're talking about.
Thank you. Please, can you, in your own words, what is Ubuntu to you?
Yes, in my culture, I'm an African man. Since I'm an African man, in simple language of Sizulu, Ubuntu means in English humanity. To be a human being who understands that there are other human beings that you are living with. That in that world, you must work hand in hand with other human beings. And you must be peaceful and nice to other people. And if your neighbor doesn't have whatever you have, maybe sugar or tea, you must share. 2, if that family has a problem in understanding customs and culture, you as a human being who understands, you must go and share that knowledge. Ubuntu or humanity means each one teach one.
According to her readings on the internet,
Yes.
Ubuntu is also a religion.
You know, there is Kaunda, if you know Kaunda. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Kaunda, remember, when we talk of humanity, we come from a society where Africa was one. Ne? When Africa was one, when the colonizers came into Africa, they divided Africa. There was one kingdom that was in Congo. Now, after those years of colonization, in South Africa we formed what we call the African National Congress in 1912. During those years, other neighboring countries like this, in SADC, like Zambia. They had an organization that we called the African National Congress of Zambia. In Zimbabwe also, in Namibia also, in Botswana also. And in the ANC we had what we call the House of Paramount. All the chiefs coming from those neighboring countries, they sat in what we call the House of Paramount in the ANC, representing their nations. Now, the ANC spoke when Sam stood up in the first history or in the first conference of the ANC, 1912, January the 18th, Bloemfontein. He said, we must do away with tribalism. We must fight against disrespecting each other. We must come together and unite as one. As one meaning we Africans. That's why we say today the liberation of South Africa becomes the liberation of the continent. That's why, remember, many people who left Central Africa, North Africa, whatever, they ended up in the South here. So we are one. So this thing, it's not a religion.
It's a school of thought.
It's a school of thought.
Is there
people like Kaunda? Why am I mentioning Zambia? Why am I mentioning Dr. Kaunda? Because he made it. He wrote a book. He made it his philosophy. Dr. Kaunda. That's why they say he's the father of humanity. He's the father of Ubuntu, because he was very close to the African National Congress. Even still today, he's still very close to the African National Congress. That's why the African National Congress had its headquarters in Lusaka. Even today, he lives in South Africa, this man, because he feels that we are the people of South Africa who has a very close link to Ubuntu. Remember when the colonizers arrived in 1652, when their ship was wrecked in the Cape, who helped them to build it? It was the South Africans. We helped them to build. That's the question. That's why today Mandela comes out of prison, says, forget, let bygones be bygones, let's be one. That's what we call humanity. And if the world embraces that, there's nothing there's nothing wrong if somebody embraces a tattoo to say Ubuntu. That's simply passing the message on to the world, to say to the world, let us be human, let us be human beings, let us live with humanity. Let's not fight for a space, let's share the space. That's all. It's good if it's embraced by the world.
Thank you very much.
Because the very same world, where does the humankind originates from?
Africa.
Absolutely. If they then realize that their roots, it's where they come from. That's how it is. We as the African, we come from what we call, Karl Marx would call communalism. That's our communal life. That's our communal system. That's humanity. That's Ubuntu. We share. That's why my child or your child is my child. My child is your child. That's why we would further went on and say, if the neighbor's child, he or she is not educated, it is upon your responsibility as a human being to take charge of that particular child. That's why we say each one must teach one. That's the purpose of it. There's no one who's owning it. It belongs to the people. It's a world responsibility to be one. That's all.
Thank you very much, Khulu. And for the record,
yes,
Mr. Khulu Radebe
yes,
is a former commando
yes,
of Ubuntu Sizwe.
yes.